Today is all about stock, and there couldn't be anything more important than making stock. Stock is made from the bones of animals. You cook it, simmer it for a long period of time, and you're getting all these minerals, and the gelatin in stock is just incredibly healthy. It's very, very good for the digestive system, and it's very protective for the digestive system. We have a digestive system that's easily injured, easily wounded by all the things that we eat, especially these whole grains and nuts and seeds. Very hard on the digestive tract. Soy, very, very hard. That's one of the hardest things to digest. By eating a lot of stock, it's a way not only to recover from problems with digestion, whether it's IBS or Crohn's disease or all these other problems, gluten intolerance. It actually heals the digestive tract. Another thing that's really great about stock and eating a lot of bone broth is that it actually spares protein. So if you're not eating very much protein, or you're not eating enough protein, if you add stock to your dishes, you're going to be able to utilize more protein. The first thing I do is I really like to use this. I really like the crock pot because if I want to simmer my bones for a minimum of 8 to 12 hours, which is what you should do, at least with chicken stock, if you're going out, I don't particularly like leaving my burner on either when I'm asleep or when I'm going out in the daytime. So this way I don't have to worry. It's totally safe. Next, I'm going to show you the ingredients that you need to make beef stock. Okay, so we have some vinegar, any plain old vinegar. I got this at Costco. Carrots, you're only going to need 1 or 2 carrots. 1 or 2 celery stalks. If you can get these organic, that's preferable. These things will be cooking for a long time. You don't really want pesticides, but do the best you can. An onion, and I have here about 3 pounds of beef bones. I happen to have marrow bones. These are actually bison marrow bones, but you can use any old kind of marrow bones. And I actually have oxtail today. You want to use a variety of bones. Oxtail, there's a lot of cartilage and bones, so they're really good to make a gelatinous stock. You can certainly use bones like rib bones or other bones, shanks, from meat, from beef in stock. So if you, say for example, serve short ribs, which I'm going to be teaching, you could then take those bones, throw them into a Ziploc bag. That's what I do. I just grab a Ziploc bag, and when we're done eating, I throw them in and freeze them. And then you start a collection of bones to cook with. I do the same thing with chicken bones. Whenever I roast a chicken, I actually just throw the bones into a Ziploc bag. I mark it, chicken bones, and then when I'm getting ready to make stock, I'll go and look for those bones. When you roast bones, it does give a little bit richer flavor. Now, I didn't do that. I'm just going to go ahead and throw everything in. For 3 pounds of bones, beef bones, I'm going to use, about 2 or these are pretty small carrots, so I'm going to use 3. A couple stalks of celery and about an onion. I wouldn't use red onions. I would use white onions or yellow onions, and try to get organic if you can. And I wouldn't use other things in your stock. I would definitely stick with onion, carrot, celery. Now, really all you have to do is maybe quarter this. The carrots, I just cut off the very ends, and I don't even bother peeling them. You can if you want. I don't. Celery, you can rinse it and just cut it up like this. Now we're going to add our vegetables. marrow bones look like. Beef stock is really great for French onion soup. If you like French onion soup, I love it. Also any kind of beef stews, chili. I wouldn't normally use this many marrow bones. I'd probably use, you know, 1 package of marrow bones, oxtail, and then maybe some leftover beef ribs or something, but I didn't have any leftovers, so that's why I'm doing it this way. All right. Next, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of vinegar. Now, it's the vinegar that's going to help leach the minerals like calcium and phosphorus out of the bones. So don't leave the vinegar out. You definitely need vinegar. If you can't do vinegar for some reason, I think you can use some other acidic, like lemon juice or something. So you just need something acidic. I'm going to add a quart of filtered water. That's 2 quarts right there. Okay. You want to leave a little bit of room at the top because you know, you don't want it to come up too high to the lid. Now I'm just going to put my lid on. What I like about this particular crock pot, I mentioned before that it is lead free. Most of the crock pots on the market do have lead, so I recommend this one. It's Hamilton Beach. And what's nice about it is it's got these little latches, so you can actually latch it like that. What's neat about this is when it is kind of bubbling, it's not going to bubble over. I've had that happen with other crock pots. So we're going to go ahead and leave this. We're not going to turn it on yet. We're going to let it sit for half an hour to an hour. Just let it just sit, and then we're going to put it on high. There's this, you know, high, low, warm. Set it on high. Once it gets boiling, then you can turn it down to low. For beef bones, you want to simmer them anywhere from 12 to 72 hours. So I usually let mine go for 24 to 48 hours for beef bones. The other stocks don't take as long. It really has to do with the size of the bones, and the bones of beef and lamb and venison, if you're using that, are the largest. So that's why they take longer. My beef stock has been simmering for about 24 hours. Normally I would leave it simmering a lot longer, but 24 hours would be the minimum. Need help, Mommy? Yeah. The beef stock is all in the bowl. All we have to do now is wait until it comes to room temperature or cool to the touch, and not room temperature, and then put it in the fridge. We're going to let it chill for several hours until it's cool and there's a layer of fat on the top, just like with the chicken stock. I do recommend covering this with some plastic wrap or something so nothing gets in it. And then I'll show you what to do next. Here's my beef stock, and you can see it has a layer of fat on the top. All you have to do is just take this fat right off. Now you can save this and you can render it and use it to fry with or cook with. This is beef fat that will work anywhere you'd use beef tallow. And it's a wonderful, wonderful fat to cook with, especially for frying. It is really gelatinous. It's like just a bowl of jelly. And that is exactly what you want. Isn't that nice? So this will just be wonderful for soups and stews, gravies, whatever you're making. So I'll freeze that just like that in the fridge, and that's all there is.